World Financial Group offers entrepreneurs from all backgrounds the opportunity to start their own business on a level playing field. Dr. Yana Woodhouse, receiving the WCM Wall Street Pioneer Award by the United Black Wall Street of America, Inc., is one of those entrepreneurs.
I see WFG and TFA as a place where African Americans with an entrepreneurial mindset can flourish. And the bonus, we help families and serve the communities across the country.
To learn more about us, go to worldfinancialgroup.com.
We are the sons and daughters of the soul. We are resilient and forever forward-thinking. We ask for nothing else than the opportunity to live and to create the lives that we were meant to live. We want nothing but an equal chance at options and possibilities. The same possibilities and options to live out our potential as our fellow man. We want to be heard, understood, and expressive in our reality. We are the future. We are the creative. We are here.
Hello, and welcome once again to another fantastic Tuesday where I, your dressed down CEO, Tyrone Glover, comes to you live from Yonkers, New York. Thank you so much for giving us the opportunity to help you get to that next level. What that next level looks like is next month is Financial Literacy Month. That next level starts next month. It started for us in Black History Month. It went through Women's History Month, and now we're attacking the Financial Literacy Month. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to tell you now, this is the time frame in which you should be making these necessary adjustments, these necessary corrections, these necessary understandings of what do you want your finances to look like. It's up to you. But we're going to help you along that pathway. Our job as a community is to help our community, to build our community, get our community to where they should be. And the only way to do that, ladies and gentlemen, is with your assistance. So I want to thank you for making time to be here today. I want to thank Soul City Network for doing what it does, which is helps us get content out there in that space. And my name is Tyrone Glover, and I'm the dressed down CEO of Leverage Credit Recovery, along with being the executive director of Yonkers Young Entrepreneurs. I am now the founder and creator of Real Ones in the Room on Substack, and the new addition to our platform, which is the Wealth Lab. The lab for short. We are doing it, folks. We are here to make sure that you have what you need moving forward. And you can get us also, send us an email at leveragecreditrecovery@gmail.com. But you can find Soul City on a variety of stations out here. Soul City is available on Roku, Fire TV, Apple TV, Discovery. You want to know what we do? Again, log on to those channels, log on to those stations. You can also find us here on YouTube. But you need to now know, what do you have to do to get to that next level? What are those things? What are those procedures? What are those strategies, those plans? Because Dr. Yanabi says it all the time. If you don't have a plan to succeed, you definitely have a plan to fail. So with that being said, we're going to dive right into the content. Today, we're going to be talking about the blueprint. The blueprint they buried, the things that they didn't want you to know, the things that they didn't want you to have. Well, we're getting ready to take the lid off of it. So again, as I said all the time, it's scary. It's intimidating. It's threatening. All the things that we put out there in the world today scare people, and it's purpose. It's for that very reason, to make sure that we are pulling those Band-Aids off, revealing the truth as what it truly is. And with that being said, we're going to go ahead and get this party started, right? So it's as I said, it's part of our Substack. Our Substack is designed to help the community get what the community needs, and I'm grateful to be doing what I do. So again, I'm going to play this out. I'm going to pause and stop and allow for some commentary to be done in between, and then we're going to jump right into the PowerPoint presentation. And the PowerPoint presentation is to piggyback off of the actual article. So sit back, enjoy, get this knowledge, get this information. The Wealth Lab installment, the blueprint they buried. This is the receipt edition. So financial literacy is not a skill, it is a weapon. And you were disarmed on purpose.
Tax first. Limited by the WLTH Lab installment. The blueprint they buried, receipts edition. Financial literacy is not a skill. It is a weapon, and you were disarmed on purpose by real ones in the room. Opening, 3 questions and a quote. If the average American works harder than ever, but owns less than ever, where is the money actually going? If the rules of money determine who lives with dignity and who survives in stress, why are those rules absent from every classroom? If the system profits from your confusion, what does it lose when you finally understand? If you don't make money in your sleep, you don't have stability, you have exposure.
And that right there is important to understand. If you do not make money in your sleep, you don't have stability, you have exposure. You are being exposed to all of the most egregious things, the most, disturbing trends that have been going on. And those 3 questions should make you really think. They should pause you for a second and they should make you think. If the average American, just think about that. If the average American works harder than ever, but owns less than ever, where is that money going? Think about question number 2. If the rules of money determines who lives with dignity and who survives in stress, why are these rules absent from every classroom? And now question number 3. If the system profits from your confusion, what does it lose when you finally understand? All right. So as I said, this is something to scare the regular person. This is something to intimidate the industry. This is something to make people think. And this is what this is all about.
Read this slowly. This is not content. This is evidence entered into record. This is not a feel-good article. This is a forensic breakdown of a system. We are not here to inspire. We are here to expose, document, and equip. Exhibit A, the great disconnect, productivity versus pay. The lie, work hard and you'll be fine. The truth, you are producing more and receiving less. Data receipts. Bureau of Labor Statistics plus Economic Policy Institute. Productivity 64% since 1979. Typical worker compensation 17%. That 47% gap. That is wealth extracted from labor and redirected to capital.
All right, so think about that again. As I said before, data, facts, evidence, receipts. I'm gonna say that one more time. Data, facts, evidence, receipts. We're not playing. We've done our history. We've done our due diligence. We've made sure that we go to these sources to make sure that everything that we put out there is verified. Again, we've been doing a lot of just agreeing and maybe even giving up, but not verifying. Here we don't do that. Here we make sure that you have the full information so that when you do start making the necessary recovery, you know exactly that this is coming from a trusted, truthful entity. But look at that. Productivity 64% since 1979. Typical workers' compensation only up 17%. All right. So you're producing more, you're doing more, but where's all your resources going? Well, it's clearly not coming into your pocket. So you now have to decide what type of changes are you going to make? And that's what it's all about. It's about those changes. It's about reorganizing, reconfiguring, redirecting your resources to where you're going to start seeing more ROI. ROI, return on that investment. All right, let's keep it going.
Reality check. You are not underperforming. You are underpaid relative to output. This is not opinion. This is documented economic divergence. Exhibit B, the cost of just existing. According to the Federal Reserve, 37% of Americans cannot cover a $400 emergency with cash. Credit card balances exceed $1 trillion, record high. According to U.S. Census Bureau, median household income is almost equal to $74,000. Median home price, U.S., is almost equal to $400,000 plus. Do the math. Housing alone can consume 30 to 50% of income.
Now think about that. Housing alone can consume 30 to 50% of your income. So if you make $100,000, think about that for a second. 50% of that $100,000 gone. Right? So that means you're down to 50,000. What's the next biggest thing that's going to come after those taxes is your rent. So that 50% of that 50,000 is now down to 25,000. Of that 25,000, you got to live for the rest of the month. That's 365 days that you have to live. We did the math and it came out to roughly about $70. $70 a day. You have to pay your car, you have to pay your insurance, you have to pay your utilities, you have to pay whatever ancillary costs that are going to be added to that living just that normal life on $70 a day. So if you're not thinking about how do I bring in more resources, how do I make sure that I have allocated understandings or even appreciating understandings versus depreciating, your paycheck is a subtraction. It is a subtraction from almost the time that you get it. It's subtracting, 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 subtracting by design. And you're going to have to decide, is that the design that you're going to live, or are you going to start strategically doing things a little bit differently? But as I said, do the math. Let's keep it moving.
Now add food, transportation, insurance, healthcare. That is not living. That is financial compression. Exhibit C, debt as a business model. Debt is not a mistake. Debt is a revenue stream. According to the Federal Reserve Bank of New York, total U.S. household debt, $17+ trillion. Mortgages, $12T. Student loans, $1.6T. Credit cards, $1T. That interest, that is guaranteed income for institutions. Translation, you are not just a worker. You are a customer of debt for life.
For life. You are a customer of debt for life. U.S. household debt, 17 trillion. Mortgage, 12 trillion. Student loans, 1.6 trillion. Credit card debt, 1 trillion. All right. The banks, financial institutions, creditors, they are loving this way. This game is being played this way. They're loving it. They keep you in debt. They make sure that you are paying the highest because we're not even negotiating, trying to reduce some of that interest. But if we were to strategically move our resources in other directions, there's another, I think I'm going to do it next week. I might do it the week after next. But nevertheless, this is all financial literacy. The little engine that could, if you get a moment, go back and read my Substack and get a head start on what that's going to look like. But the little engine that could, it talks about women. It talks about African Americans. It talks about Hispanics. Those three little engines. If those three little engines were to combine their resources, which is trillions of dollars, and reallocate it into other different avenues and directions, we could slow this thing down so bad. And again, it's not about being angry, mad, upset. It's about making sure that this equity thing that they keep talking about is even across the board. And again, even is not what I'm referring to 50-50. No, that's not what I'm referring to. But we need to see growth. That's the even that I'm talking about. We need to see that the system is working for every single individual that is partaking. And that's the even that I'm talking about. But in order to get there, you need to know how we got here first. All right, let's keep it moving.
Exhibit D, financial literacy failure by design. From FINRA, only 34% of adults can answer basic financial questions correctly. From Council for Economic Education, only 25 states require a personal finance course for graduation as of 2025.
Now, why do you think that is? Why is it that only 34% of adults can answer basic financial literacy questions? Why is it that only 25 states require a personal financial course for graduation as of 2025? It was by design. It was designed to keep a certain percentage of the population in these debt traps. It's also, if you get the opportunity, go back and read the employee trap on my Substack. Go back and read the article that is also labeled with dying on the clock. I told you, I did some research, I did some history. I went back as far as I possibly could to make sure that this information is prime for this particular time frame. And I'm here at the request of clearly our creator, because I didn't know any of this stuff when I was growing up. I didn't have the knowledge and the understanding, but I am positioned for this very moment in our history to be giving this clear direction as to what it is that we as human beings are going to have to do, especially those of us who are poor. Okay. Those of us who are the working poor, those of us who are the working homeless, those of us who are within that ever eroding middle class, those of us who are youth of color, our most valuable and vulnerable resource and asset. And to all of our students, regardless of your background, regardless of your level, regardless of your age, if we decide to say no more, imagine what we can do. But it's going to have to change these numbers. These numbers are going to have to change. That 34 has to be up by 50, 60. That 25 states, why is it that all states do not require? All right, let's keep it moving.
Let that sit. In a country where money determines survival, debt determines access, credit determines opportunity, financial literacy is still optional. That is not oversight. That is strategy. The real components of financial power. 1. Wages, controlled income. Wages are tax first, limited by time, controlled by employer. Combine that with at-will employment, and you get conditional survival, receipt, at-will employment. In most U.S. states, you can be terminated without cause. You can lose income without warning. You are not secure. You are exposed to decisions you don't control.
Now, I'm still stuck on that part. That one really bothers me. It boggles my mind that a state can say, hey, you know what? We're going to create a place where we can fire someone at will. We can just say, you know what? Our numbers aren't hitting for whatever that circumstance and reason may be, but we can't use you anymore. We don't need you any longer. I still don't get that one. I still don't get that one. In the richest country on the face of the planet, they were just talking about Elon Musk, $850 billion. Okay, should anyone have that much wealth? I'm for not. But again, if you required it under the means in which you required it and the government has helped you out, hey, good, go for it. But there's some things that we need to know how he became that rich. There's a lot of things that you don't know that I know. There's something called subsidy tracker. Check it out. There's something called violation tracker. Check it out. But they're doing everything to keep you at that on the margins, to keep you controlled. Well, those things have to change. And the only way those things change is that you know where it came from, how we got here. All right, let's keep it moving.
2. Tax structure, the hidden game. Wage earners pay ordinary income tax, highest rates. Investors benefit from lower capital gains tax, depreciation strategies, business write-offs. 2 people earn money. Only one keeps most of it. 3.
And that should concern you as well. Why is it the ordinary income is taxed at the highest rate? Why? As a single person, I've been asking the IRS since I have been single. How is it that I'm paying such a huge tax burden? Or why do I carry such a huge tax burden? Well, I find out that I'm subsidizing. I'm subsidizing a lot of big, rich billionaires. And unfortunately, due to how the tax code has been written, which used to be 400 pages, is now over 70,000 pages with interpretations. And trust me, they are not designed to help us. Okay, I'm talking about us who are in those categories that I just mentioned: the poor, the working homeless, the ever eroding middle class, those vulnerable students who will. Every single year, 4 million students are eligible for voting. They turn 17 to 18, they're eligible for voting. They're graduating, and we're sending our graduates into the world unprepared because only 25 states decided to mandate something like financial literacy. This is up to us. We need to break cycles and get rid of this current status quo that is putting too many of us in harm's way. All right. Like I said, evidence, facts, data, receipts. So all of you who think that, oh, he's just pulling this out of the air or pulling it out of whatever you want to call it, this is for the naysayers. This is for the Equifax and TransUnion experience. This is for our legislators. There's a new piece that's coming out in a couple of weeks as well about how TSA, again, just started now receiving their paycheck. How is it that contractors as well as government workers have to do without, and then they have to start begging and pleading, and even some of the things that I've heard about selling plasma, selling some of their goods just to make ends meet, while our congressional leaders' pay is conditioned to the Constitution. It doesn't sit well, and it should never, ever have been, but we get it. Now we're going to do something about it. And the only way to do something about it is to have the evidence, is to have the proof, so that there are no, oh, well, we have to analyze, we have to deduce. No more. We have to now correct. And the only way to correct is by having these events like they just had over the weekend. No kings. I'm looking forward to the Indivisibles next event, which is going to put a little bit of a pause on going to school, meaning taking the day off, shopping, taking the day off, not partaking in a lot of these activities, taking the day off. I'm super excited about what's going to be coming up here for Indivisible. So Indivisible, if you can hear me, if you can see me, if you can come in and let me know what part I need to play, because I'll play a role. But this role that I'm playing right here is even prior to Indivisible. So we're making a footprint. Question is, how many of you are going to follow in those footprints? All right, let's keep it moving.
Credit, the gatekeeper system. Your credit determines loan approval, interest rates, housing access, insurance premiums, legal receipts. Under the Fair Credit Reporting Act, Section 1681E, B must ensure maximum possible accuracy. Section 1681I, must investigate disputes within 30 days. Section 1681B, must have permissible purpose for access. The problem: millions of reports contain inaccurate data, unverified accounts, outdated information, and most consumers never challenge it.
And therein lies the problem. Our platform was created with the credit understanding as our primary focus. And we decided to create a umbrella approach. We wanted to move away from the singular issues, but credit is always going to remain a core piece of our umbrella approach. We just now put it under that financial literacy umbrella. But think about some of these things. Under the Fair Credit Reporting Act, must. This is a definitive. This is not, oh, you can if you choose to. This is a must ensure maximum possible accuracy. Must investigate disputes within 30 days. Must have permissible purpose for access. And a lot of what's going on does not fit these rules and laws. These are acts. And if these companies do not do what they're supposed to do, you're entitled to a fine, meaning you can fine them, you can sue them. That's $1,000 per item that is incorrect. And really here, again, it says the problem is millions of reports contain inaccurate data, unverified accounts, outdated information. And if you do not challenge it, it stays there. So if you're wondering why you're unable to maybe secure that apartment, if you're wondering where you are not able to secure that home, secure that auto, secure that credit card, whatever that might look like, there is the reason right there. You have to look through that credit report. You have to locate those trade lines. You have to do your due diligence to remove things that do not belong there. And let me tell you, folks, a lot of that stuff can be removed, but you need to get with somebody like myself or someone who is equally in that space. But be vigilant. Don't just give your information or that money to somebody because they say they can do X, Y, and Z. You have to stay on top of it, verify before. Make sure they are somewhat of an authority in that space. Do not just believe everything you see on TikTok or Instagram or YouTube or whatever you're getting that information from. But we're going to give it to you for free. And all we're asking you to do is go back and check it out. Check it out. Make sure. But I'm telling you, this is the year to get in front of all your financial concerns. This is the year. We have somebody occupying the people's house who's doing some of the most egregious things. So if you're still going to partake in what this individual is doing, then you're setting yourself up for further harm. This is now the year to start putting things on pause and really diving into what your financial situation and circumstance could look like. All right, let's keep it moving.
4. Credit recovery, enforcement, not request. Let's correct the language. You are not fixing credit. You are enforcing compliance with federal law. When you dispute, you shift burden of proof. You require verification. You create legal record. This is how you turn a system against itself.
All right, so again, it's called credit recovery. All right, understand that. It's called credit recovery. You can't fix credit. You can't even repair credit. So stop being bought into these so-called gurus and these other platforms who, oh, we can fix your credit. You can't fix credit. Credit is a behavior. And the only way to repair behavior is to recover from that behavior. All right, it's just that simple. It's just that simple. You have to, again, you are shifting the burden of proof. You are requiring verification. You are create legal record. You're going to have a documented history of what has been done and what has not been done. And watch these things come off as you start challenging Equifax Change in Experience. But if you don't do it, you think they're going to do it for you. You think they're going to call you and say, oh, by the way, we noticed that there was a couple of errors on your report. And to help you out, we're going to take that off for you because you're just that type of a person. That is not going to happen. The more that you dive into and have an appropriate understanding and is using that business financial language, guess what happens? You start seeing what you need to see. You start getting what you are entitled to. But if you can't do that, if you are not willing to understand, well, the status quo is going to stay as is. All right, keeping it moving.
5. Markets, where the real money is made. According to the Federal Reserve Distribution of Wealth, top 10% own 90% of equities.
All right, I'm going to stop that there because you probably already see that this is somewhat skewed to, obviously, the top 10%. How is it that the top 10% own 90% of the equity? So what is that saying? That's saying that the bottom 90% own 10%. Where, what, is it Twilight Zone? Am I going to, can I pinch myself and wake up? Because I'm wondering, how did it ever get to this? And you're wondering why you can't cover a $400 emergency? You're wondering why you can't cover $1,000 emergency? You're wondering why you still can't relocate or move from a studio to a one-bedroom? Or you're wondering why you don't have appreciating assets? There it is right there. This has to change. And the only way for it to change is for you to get more involved with what is being done to you and stop thinking things are going to be done for you. Because our Congress has literally abdicated their responsibilities when it comes to how we as citizens financially maneuver through this country. You're feeling it, you're seeing it, you're experiencing it, and you probably have been. And if you are anyone like myself who understands that, I've shown you already since Nixon, every single president has undermined the middle class. And this is why we are where we are today. That has to change. And the only way for it to change is with your assistance, with your help, with individuals like myself, with Soul City Network, with Dr. Yana B. Woodhouse, with all of these professionals who are doing what we do to make sure that you have the information that you need to have. All right, keeping it moving.
Translation: the wealthy own assets that grow. The majority rely on wages that stagnate. The lab truth: markets reward knowledge, patience, strategy. They punish emotion, ignorance, impulse. The 7 principles reintroduced as law.
All right, so these principles are for individuals who might even attempt to try to get into the markets. I'm a trader. I'm someone not a trader to this country. I love this country. I'm a veteran, so I love this country beyond. I am a full-fledged veteran who took that oath and understands that I'm going to defend this country from all enemies, foreign and domestic. And currently today, we have way more domestic enemies than anything else. You can keep listening to wherever you get your news from, whatever peddling station of misinformation. You can continue to keep thinking that things are going to change. They're not going to change without us doing our due diligence. And that's the only way they're going to change. But if you're going to get into that market space, then you're going to need to know these 7 principles. And these are the principles that have helped me maneuver in a space where I was never, ever given any type of playbook. And I'm doing exceptionally well, I have to say. But you got to think more strategic. As I said, if your income is subtracting, and the average millionaire has 7 income streams and you have one, where do you think you're going to get that additional resources? Your employer already told you at will state. The federal government has already said that the minimum wage is going to be $7.25, and it has been that since 2009. Your employers have already said, hey, this is the best I can do. They're going to give you a minimum wage. Yonkers has already said, I think it's $15. New York State has already said it's $17. A living wage is upwards of $35. If we're not talking about a minimum, a living, then we should be at least talking about a fair, and it should go in lockstep with inflation. Those are the way you make change. Those are the way that you give people back that stability, because right now, too many of you are exposed. But let's check out these 7 rules.
Accumulation: smart money enters. Demand: price moves up. Distribution: smart money exits. Supply: price falls. Support: buyers defend. Resistance: sellers defend. Break of structure: trend shift. Plus, CHOCH: early reversal signal. These are not theories. These are repeatable behaviors backed by data.
All right, repeatable behaviors backed by data. You need to know what moves the market in the up direction: accumulation. What creates that accumulation? The demand. Once the market hits a certain level, it's going to shift. It's going to distribute, and this is where smart money exits, and now the price of that asset starts to fall. When you understand support and resistance, you know where the buyers get in to defend. You know where the sellers are in to defend. When you can understand the shift in what that is looking like, when you get a break of structure, and the plus is that early reversal signal, which is CHOCH, which is basically called the change of character. And again, as I said, we teach addition, subtraction, division, multiplication, calculus, statistics, algebra, geometry, but we do not teach how money works. Because it's what? It's too hard. It's too challenging. And that's the reason why, again, the top 10% own 90% of all equity. Because we think something like this is too challenging. It's too difficult. Come on now, again, these are not theories. These are repeatable behaviors backed by data. CNBC, Bloomberg, okay, go down to Wall Street. Repeatable behavior backed by data. All right, let's keep it moving.
6. Assets: the true divide. From the Federal Reserve. Median net worth. Homeowners, $255,000. Renters, $6,300. That is not a gap. That is a financial canyon. Why? Assets: appreciate, generate income, provide leverage. Liabilities: drain income, increase dependency. 7. Roy, the language of power.
All right, let's talk about that really quick again. Where's your money going? If you're not a homeowner, you don't have appreciating assets. If you do not own stocks that, again, give dividends back, you're not appreciating anything. If you don't own jewelry that appreciates, if you don't own paintings that appreciate, if you do not own appreciating assets, you have liabilities. Anything that you have that is depreciating is a liability. And I'm not saying that you have to stop buying the things that you need to buy, but we need to get more strategic about how money really works. And once you understand how it works, then you're going to start finding yourself in these categories where it's going to do you far more good. And this is for every single person. It doesn't matter how old, doesn't matter how young, but primarily, this is for those who have that wisdom in their chin already, the grays. This is for those who are now reaching that 25 and that 30. I get it. You might think that you can outlive whatever that might look like, but if you're thinking about bringing some other youth into this world, this is primarily for those 12th graders that I see on a regular basis. This is for those ninth graders that are now leaving middle school, going into, as the 2026-27 school year comes up. This is for those kindergartners who need to start learning about money early. Who's on that penny? Who's on that nickel? Who's on that quarter? Who's on that dime? Who's on that $1, that $5, that $10? This is for them. So that when they reach that age of, oh my goodness, I'm 35, I'm 40, that they'll already have a safety net, that they'll already have, because mom, dad, caregiver, loved one, parents, and those individuals who are bringing them into the world are setting them up for success. Because unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry to have to say this, we have set our kids up for failure in the academic community, along with our governance. Never government. And I want to make this abundantly clear. Government is an entity. Government was designed to do the right thing. It is governance, the individuals that we have elected, put into positions of authority, and yet they have failed us time and time and time and time again. The choice is now yours. You're getting this for free. You're getting this from an authority in this space, and I'm challenging anyone. You have an open invitation to join the program whenever you deem necessary to refute or go back and forth with me as to whether or not this is correct. But I can tell you right now, that says the Federal Reserve. Okay? But it's up to you. It's not up to me. All right, let's keep the ball rolling.
Our ROI is not optional. It is the metric of survival at scale. Reality: if you don't calculate ROI, you overspend on liabilities. You underinvest in assets. You remain financially stagnant. Exhibit E: retirement is breaking. From Boston College Center for Retirement Research, 50% of Americans are at risk of not having enough for retirement. From Social Security projections, potential shortfalls by mid-2030s without reform. Translation: the system you were told to trust cannot sustain you. Exhibit F: the system loop full breakdown. You earn wages. Wages are taxed heavily. Cost of living rises. You rely on credit. Interest extracts more money. You lack assets. You repeat cycle. This is not random. This is a closed-loop economic trap.
All right, a closed loop economic trap. So think about this. You earn wages, wages taxed heavily, cost of living rises, you rely on credit, interest extracts more money, you lack assets, you repeat cycles. So this is every single month you get your earnings. Those earnings are taxed. Your cost of living goes up. We have seen what has happened in this last administration, and we saw what happened in the previous administration. But you can go all the way back, as I said, since Nixon. Since Nixon, one of my articles literally hones in on every single president and how they have strategically undermined. Trickle down economics was basically trickle up trillions. So think about that for a second. Trickle down economics was trickle up trillion. Rand, RAND Corporation, did a study, and they said over 7 generations, you're talking about 140 years, some $47 trillion trickled up. I wish I was making this up, but I'm not. All right. So this is your reality, folks. And until you decide to do something different, this is going to continue to be the reality of those youth that we are bringing into the world. And I refuse to allow the academics community that I currently am serving here in Yonkers to go through that. So I'm asking and I'm imploring all these students here in Yonkers, start pulling up to that, pull up a chair in Getty Square. I'm reaching out to all academic professionals here in the Yonkers district to start pulling up to our pull up a chair in Getty Square, start getting this knowledge. Since Kathy Holcomb, thank you so much, Mrs. Governor, for mandating it here in New York, which will start and take effect, if I'm not mistaken, in 2027 and beyond. But if we can get in front of it now, let Yonkers be the Renaissance location for financial literacy. Mr. Mayor, all right, elected officials, county legislators, all right, I'm calling you out. I'm asking you now. Let's sit down at the table. If you can't find room at the table, I got a table. I'll bring my own chair. But start pulling up, start doing the things that we need to do to make sure that we secure the futures for this next generation. Or the Rand Corporation in another 7 generations is going to be writing another one. How we are now at $100 trillion that has trickled up. All right, let's keep it moving.
The break, how you exit the system. Step 1, reprogram your understanding. Money is not income. Money is control of resources.
Money is not income, all right? Money is a control of resources, all right? Each one of these is poignant. Write these down, take a screenshot, whatever that might look like. Come back and redo this over and over and over and over until it is ingrained in your psyche. This is how you change the trajectory of what your income is not doing for you and how you secure, or you're still going to be exposed. All right, let's keep it moving.
Step 2, credit recovery legally. Audit your report. Dispute inaccuracies. Document everything. Step 3, learn markets. Stop guessing. Start studying structure. Step 4, acquire assets. Even small positions matter. Ownership compounds. Step 5, measure everything. ROI. Risk. Return. Step 6, build systems. Income without time. Automation. Scalability. For the people, read this clearly. To the poor. To the working poor. To the working homeless. To the middle class being erased in real time. To our youth, our most valuable and vulnerable asset. You are not behind. You are deliberately underinformed. This is where everything changes. Financial literacy is not a class, a seminar, a conversation. It is a defense system against exploitation, a strategy for ownership, a pathway to power. Final record entry. This installment is not the end. This is the beginning of awareness, accountability, action. Closing, 3 questions and a quote. Now that you see the system clearly, will you keep participating blindly? If financial literacy is the difference between dependence and power, why delay mastering it? If the blueprint is now in your hands, what excuse remains? They didn't just keep you from the money. They kept you from the knowledge that creates it. Now that you have both, the outcome is on you.
All right, so again, those 3 questions, take them, hone in on them. The 3 that started the article, take them, hone in on them, and ask yourself those questions. Now that you see the system clearly, will you keep participating blindly? If financial literacy is the difference between dependence and power, why delay mastering it? If the blueprint is now in your hands, what excuse remains? All right, so let's finish this off.
Welcome to the lab. Facts, data, evidence, resources, receipts. No opinions, no excuses, just truth.
So that's the lab, folks. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to shift trajectory here. We're going to move from the article and we're going to dive right into the PowerPoint presentation. This is just another piece that we do to, again, hopefully help you with understanding these important things that you need to. If anyone ever wants to have the PowerPoint presentations, please send me an email. That's at leveragecreditrecovery@gmail.com. You can also reach out to Soul City Network, which will also equally give you that opportunity to explore and have what you need to be able to do this at your home, do this at your office, do this at your watering hole, whatever it is that we need to do to help you get to where you need to be. By all means, we're going to do it. We're going to do it. This is not about a competition. This is about an inclusive understanding of bringing all of our people, again, the poor, all right, the working poor, the working homeless. Those two categories should not even exist, but they do. The ever eroding middle class, our students, our most vulnerable youth of color, all youth, to be honest with you. Okay, these are our most valuable and most vulnerable assets. They need to start being financially literate, financially astute. All right, so let's go ahead and dive right into that PowerPoint presentation. All right, so again, you can see here the Wealth Lab. The Wealth Lab is real simple. It's really simple. Wealth, W, it stands for wealth. The E stands for entrepreneurship. The A stands for assets. The L stands for literacy. And the T stands for taxes, along with the H that stands for housing. The lab, all right, the lab for short. The blueprint they buried. They didn't want you to have this information. They buried this purposely because they needed to keep a certain amount of the population at a disadvantage. That ends this financial literacy month, but it only ends if you want it to. For those who will be partaking, I want to thank all of those who have already visited the library for my free workshops. For those who are already in the system doing the things that they need to be doing, thank you, thank you, thank you to all of the students who have inquired. And I'm hoping that as we move in that direction of, you know what, inquiring is good, but let's get to execution. That's where it starts to change. All right, so again, another 3 questions that I always, you're probably going to find out that these 3 questions are something that I always continue to keep bringing to the table, but it's designed for a reason. All right, so if the average American works harder than ever, but owns less than ever, where is the money actually going? If the rules of money determine who lives with dignity and who survives in stress, why are these rules absent from every classroom? All right. If the system profits from your confusion, what does it lose when you finally understand? So that's not me. That's the system. That's the system more or less asking you, can you answer those questions? Can you answer those questions with the understanding that it's going to move you to that next level? All right. So if you don't make money in your sleep, please write this down. Put it on your mirror in the bathroom. Put it on the refrigerator. Put it on the refrigerator. Put it on the doorway when you walk in and out. Make your guests look at it and go, what does that mean? What do you mean? What does that mean? If you do not make money in your sleep, you don't have stability, you have exposure. That's what that means. And that should hone in. That should make people really pause and think, wow, am I really that exposed? Is my financial situation really that exposed? How do I secure it? How do I stabilize it? Well, this is part 1. All right, so this is not content, this is evidence entered into record. This is not a feel-good PowerPoint presentation. This is a forensic breakdown of a system. All right, we are not here to inspire, we are here to expose, document, and equip. Expose, document, and equip. And all you have to do is the equip part. Once you get it, go and do your due diligence. Get in front of it. Get in front of it now. Don't wait until tomorrow. Don't wait until next week. Financial literacy, well, actually, April Fool's. It's funny that it begins the same the same day as financial literacy begins. So this is not a joke. We're not ha ha he he and about what is to come about your financial literacy. But let's have a little bit of jovial moment tomorrow, play some games on people. I get it. But after that, let's get back to that reality. All right, so we know we're about to wrap this up slowly but surely. We're asking those of you who have already, if you got a question or two that you want to drop into the question area, please do so at this time because we've still got about 8 more minutes. We won't be finishing this PowerPoint presentation in its entirety, but it's a reinforcement. It's an opportunity for us to make sure that those of you who are serious about moving your financial situation out of where it is into what it could be, into something better, well, you're now getting the playbook. You're now getting exposure to what you can do to change what you do not want to be anymore. All right. So again, the great disconnect. The great disconnect, pay and productivity. Pay and productivity. These are not the same. The lie, hard work and you'll be fine. Biggest lie ever told. Hard work and you will be fine. The truth, you are producing more and receiving less. I'm not making it up. I wish I could say I was, but I'm not. You are feeling it, you are experiencing it. And if you were a TSA agent or if you were a government contractor, that next PowerPoint that we'll be doing along with the next article about what you need to know about how this government has governance, government entity, governance has protected itself. I don't understand how congressional leaders can go on vacation, can do all the things that they do, hold you hostage to your wages while they negotiate about what? They equally should be on the same type of system. They shouldn't be excluded. And the only way to change that is for us to have this realization, for us to have this conversation. But that only changes with you. That only changes with us, the people. We, the people. They work for us. We don't work for them. All right. So again, as I said, this is design. It's designed to scare you. It's designed to make you think. Here's that 47% gap. Productivity, 64% up. Workers' compensation, 17%. Why do we have that large of a gap if we are producing that much more? What is it? Where's the disconnect? Okay, yes. Well, I'm glad someone that actually threw it. The disconnect is that we're giving up too much. We've entrusted, but we haven't received that ROI. So wealth extracted from labor and redirected to capital, not ours, theirs. 7 income streams. The average millionaire has 7 income streams. The average worker has 1. Your paycheck is subtraction, 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 subtraction. When does it add? Never. So you're going to have to do things differently, or the status quo continues. All right. So you are not underperforming. You are you are underpaid relative to output. This is not opinion. I wish I could say it was, but it's not. This is documented economic divergence. You're going to have to decide what's more important because as soon as you do, things start to change. All right, so we're going to jump through some exhibits here really quick. As I said, we got about 5 more minutes, 4 more minutes. For those of you who want to, again, please feel free, drop a question in. I'll be more than happy to knock that question out for you really quick. And then get you back onto your regular day, your regular scheduled programs. But I want to thank you as always. Thank you for being part of the conversation, because the conversation is really for you. It's meant to give you what you need to do what it needs to do for you. So the cost of just existing. This is Federal Reserve, as I told you. I'm not making this up. I don't have to sit here and try to make stuff up. The reality is what the reality is. The Census Bureau. I'm not making this up. Again, housing alone consumes 30 to 50%. 30 to 50%. So that's, again, that is subtraction. Food, subtraction. Transportation, subtraction. Insurance, subtraction. Healthcare, subtraction. There is no additive. There is nothing that would be left over when you think about it. By the time that paycheck has come in, it's almost gone. There's very little left over. So that's why you have exposure versus stability. All right. So this is not living. This is financial compression. And in order for that to change, you're going to have to do things a little bit differently. In order for you to start receiving the full benefits of what this society and what this nation is supposed to be providing for you, you're going to have to change something. Debt as a business model. Banks love you. Financial institutions love you. Academic facilities love you. Creditors love you because they know they can capitalize off your, I hate to say it, ignorance, off your inabilities, off what academia has failed to do. And we're not blaming mom, dad, caregivers, and loved ones. That's done with. We're not blaming them any longer because we know it wasn't mom, dads, caregivers, and loved ones. We know they were under the same type of constraints that we're now under. We know they didn't have the understanding. But here's where I got to put the brakes on just a little bit, especially for those of us who are African American. Okay? We come from the knowledge. We come from Black Wall Street. We come from Tulsa, Oklahoma. We come from these understandings of having, and due to whatever that might look like, in whichever form or fashion one wants to call it, we need to get back to that. All right, we need to be focusing on appreciating assets. We need to break what we're seeing right here in front of me now. Total household debt, $17+ trillion. When you start seeing these types of numbers coming across your screens, it should terrorize you. It should make you think, oh my God, I need to stop doing what I'm doing. I need to sit down with a true professional who understands it, not those certified financial planners. Nothing against them. Nothing against anyone. I am not here demeaning, bashing, making any profession seem what it is not. If you are doing the right things, we would never be in a situation that we are right here. We would never. So I'm not here to say that you're part of the problem, but I'm definitely saying that you have not really solved very much for a lot of people. And the only way for that to change is for us to make you realize too. Why do we have such huge deficits? Not deficits in the federal government, but deficits in my portfolio. That only changes when we get smarter, brighter, wiser, savvier, and then we start holding those accountable who are responsible for our resources. My 401k should be growing, not subtracting. My 304b should be growing, not subtracting. My Roth IRA should be growing, not subtracting. All right, my CD should be growing, not subtracting. High yield is not a single-digit number. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, as I always say, these are conversations that they must be had. And they're being had by somebody who understands this industry, because I come from corporate America. I decided to get into academia. Now that I'm in academia, I'm seeing these shortfalls and the shortcomings. Why did I in corporate America go in our separate ways? Well, I saw what they were doing too. So I combined those two elements of what I've been, of who I am. And this is not the person that you see in front of you. Someone who's astute, someone who understands, someone who gets it, someone who now wants to change it for the majority of those who know that they should be doing better. So thank you very much, everyone, for watching. Please, please, please tune in on Thursdays to Dr. Yana B. She's got Access Wealth Nation. Please come back on Tuesdays and join us for further conversations. My name is Tyrone Glover. I'm the Dress Down CEO of Leverage Credit Recovery. And I want to thank you as always. America, be safe.
We are the sons and daughters of the soul. We are resilient and forever forward-thinking. We ask for nothing else than the opportunity to live and to create the lives that we were meant to live. We want nothing but an equal chance at options and possibilities. The same possibilities and options to live out our potential as our fellow man. We want to be heard, understood, and expressive in our reality. We are the future. We are the creative. We are here.